Welcome to Champ Week presented by Principal. Today, it's the Big South Championship from Radford, Virginia. The number 5 seed Liberty Flames taking on the number 2 seed Highlanders from Radford University. And Radford comes into this game the hottest team in the league, having won 6 in a row, while Liberty is the league's best road team, having just knocked off the regular season champs from UNC Asheville to get to this game. And welcome everybody, Doug Sherman along with Paul Biancardi. So glad you could join us here for the best time of year when it comes to college basketball. So much riding on the line here today.
For this conference, today's the only way to get into the big dance. The magnitude of this game is at an all-time high for the coaches and players. That's why Champ Week is so exciting.
4 more tickets to the NCAA tournament will be punched today. The first here in Radford, Virginia. It is the Big South Championship, and we are underway. Radford in its home whites. Carlik Jones, the point guard. He's a redshirt freshman out of Aiken High School in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Radford comes in, the hottest team in the Big South. They've won 6 in a row. Liberty, the deepest team and the most well-balanced. They have 4 in double figures offensively.
In they go to Randy Phillips. His jump hook barely grazed the iron with the shot clock down to 1.
And Doug, we're going to see some outstanding defense by each team this afternoon. That's where they pride themselves. That's how they got to this game.
Well, each of these teams is in the top 20 nationally in points per game allowed. And not surprisingly, 2 possessions in, we've got a near shot clock violation and a turnover.
Liberty number 1 in the Big South in scoring defense. They only give up 64 points a game. Radford number 2 in the Big South in the same stat.
Yeah, Liberty is 12th in the nation in that number. Radford is 19th.
It's not going to be easy today, Doug, to get to the rim. Everything's going to be contested. We'll see who gives up the offensive glass.
Georgie Pacheco Ortiz, the sophomore point guard from Ponce, Puerto Rico. He's got it from the right wing.
That's the guy that Radford likes to play through. Ed Polite, first team all Big South. And you see the positional defense by Liberty. They don't leave their feet. And they clean up the glass.
Well, if you're Radford, you got the shot you wanted. Just couldn't finish.
To the guy that you want shooting the most shots, Ed Polite Jr.
Here's Scotty James, the redshirt sophomore from Tarpon Springs, Florida, gives to Pacheco Ortiz and then posts up. James glances at the shot clock, which is down to 4. Give it back to Lavelle Cavill. And it's another shot clock violation. Well, Richie McKay is in his 5th year as head coach at Liberty University, but it's his second go-round with the Flames. He was there and then left to be an assistant coach for 6 years in Charlottesville under Tony Bennett. And so when you watch Virginia and you watch Liberty, you see an awful lot of similarities, Paul.
You see that pack line defense from Liberty this afternoon. That's what got them to the championship game.
Carlik Jones breaks the seal.
Carlik Jones, 1 in the red. The freshman of the year in the Big South. A dynamic, creative, true combo guard. He can score it or he can make the assist.
Elijah Cuffey double team, finds the open man, Ryan Kemright. The all-time leader in 3-point shots made in program history. Makes it 3-2 Liberty.
Well, that's the one guy, if you're Radford, you can't leave open. You mentioned his 3-point shooting percentage. He is catch and shoot all afternoon long.
Well, the duo that combined for that bucket for Liberty, Pacheco Ortiz and Kemright, neither had any other Division I scholarship offers coming out of high school. Just a remarkable run for both. Polite, no. Kept alive by Phillips. And the biggest man on the floor has it. And then he is fouled. Radford's Mike Jones in his 7th year as head coach of the Highlanders. He's a Washington, D.C. guy. Grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, but the 52-year-old played his high school ball and his college ball in D.C. at Sidwell Friends School and then at Howard University,
where he was a zoology major. How about that one?
Well, I had the fortune earlier this week of spending a full day on the Howard University campus, Paul. Beautiful school. What a wonderful academic reputation. And their list of prominent alumni, you'd stack it up with any big-time program.
Mike Jones has built this program from the ground up. When he inherited Radford, they came off a 5-win season. Shortly after that, he built 20 wins back-to-back.
Blocking foul. Count the basket. Well, Mike Jones told us right before tip-off his message to his team: block out the hype, focus on each other. An NCAA tournament bid is on the line.
UNC Asheville wins the Big South tournament, and the Bulldogs are going dancing. For the first time since 2010, Winthrop advances to the NCAA tournament. The second ticket to the dance has been caught.
Coach Biancardi, what are your keys to winning in a tournament like this? The Big South Championship, it's one and done.
Well, we know about talent and defense and offense. To me, it's the game within the game. And number one is the identity of your team. Know who you are, play to your strengths, and don't get out of character. Mike Jones told us that before the game. Number two, you have to have confidence. You can't hope to win this. You have to expect to win it. And what I think is really important, you have to stay loose. It's important for the head coach to keep his team focused and loose. And when it comes to leadership, I've never seen a championship team win without great leadership. Batman and Robin, Doug. You need a star and a guy who's going to play like a star.
So you're Batman, I'm Robin.
That's right. I'm glad you figured that out quick. You have to play like a star. I am a star.
I'm trying to bring it, Coach. Foul off the miss by Donald Hicks. Slow to get up, Scotty James. Personal foul on Ed Polite Jr., his first personal. Junior from Lanham, Maryland. Important for Coach Jones to keep on the floor. You know, you run through all the different things that are key to each team. For Radford, you got to get production from Ed Polite Jr.
You have to, from the inside out. That's where he's best. And Carlik Jones, they are the Batman and Robin, if you will, for Radford. Those guys have to get the most shots because they lead the team in scoring. Polite at 13 a game, and Carlik Jones at 11.
Pacheco Ortiz turns it over. Step back jumper. That's a long two for Fields on the offensive rebound. Holland was blocked. Look at each of these teams scrap. Radford is now 1 for 9 from the floor.
Well, Doug, I think the keys for Radford is they have to have defensive patience. Right now, they have to play this out to the end and then clean up the defensive glass. And they're going to play ahead of the pack. Score in transition. Off of turnovers. The offensive glass. They can't allow this Liberty defense, which is 12th in the nation in points allowed, to get set and get back.
Travis Fields Jr. gives off to Carlik Jones. 2-point guard look for Mike Jones' club. Devontae Holland off the window. That snaps a 6-0 Liberty run.
And Liberty has the advantage. I'm sorry, Radford has the advantage inside with Polite, Phillips, and Holland. Big boys that can score inside.
Lavelle Cabell turns it over to Fields, and here comes the former Monarch from Old Dominion. Ed Polite Jr. will head to the free throw line. Polite's a 6'5" junior out of Duval High School. First team all-conference. And he had a half dozen high majors come calling after he signed with Radford. He actually originally picked Radford over Monmouth and Quinnipiac out of the Metro Atlantic. But he held firm to his commitment to the Highlanders. Well, for the 33rd year, ESPN Champ Week continues today with 3 more women's title matchups on ESPN2. The SEC Championship game is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, the Big Ten at 7 o'clock, and the Pac-12 at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. And you can always watch them live on the ESPN app if you are out and about. Polite, a good foul shooter, goes 0 for 2 at the line.
And it's really important for Radford, as I mentioned, to play ahead of that pack. Any transition buckets, any offensive rebounds, anything from the free throw line will make it easier for them in terms of offense. Liberty makes it hard to score against.
Holmesley, tough shot. He was fouled by Jones.
Caleb Holmesley for Liberty in the last 2 games in the Big South tournament. 8 for 12 from the floor, 4 for 6 from threes. He's grabbing 7 rebounds, an average in the last 2 games. Young man from Porter Ridge High School in Indian Trail, North Carolina.
As you see, foul shooting is one of the real strengths for the Flames, including Holmesley. Although at 73%, he's kind of
he's the low man
on the team for sure. But Holmesley was the Liberty top scorer going into last season, but he suffered the second torn ACL of his right knee,
and
counting one in high school.
And if this game gets close, you mentioned it, Liberty 5th in the country in free throw percentage, 79% as a team. Advantage the Flames.
Yeah, they're going to shatter the program record, which was down at about 75%. Nice shot by Carly Jones, the freshman of the year in the Big South. He's got 4 early points.
He doesn't play like a freshman. Very mature, battle-tested. He loves crunch time.
I'll tell you what, Friday morning before the semifinal game, it was the freshman Carly Jones who said to his coaches and teammates, no, we are going to use our time to have a morning shoot-around. Yeah, we played last night, but we need that time. And so he is leading already as a second-year freshman.
Well, you don't have to be a senior to be a leader. You just have to have leadership skills to lead others. I'll tell you what, he can really score it and distribute.
Yeah, Carly Jones with the basketball. He's 2 for 3. His teammates have missed 8 of their 9 shots so far. Holland again working well along that baseline.
The freshman of the year, Carly Jones, uses the ball screen. No resistance, right to the rack. He's got great body control when he gets inside with the bigger bodies. I love the way he navigates and pick and roll. He is the do-it-all guard for Radford.
Devontae Holland at the line, a sophomore from Martinsville, Virginia. He's in much better shape than when he got to campus a couple of years ago. He's dropped a lot of weight. Played his high school basketball for former Maryland Terrapin Jeff Atkins in Martinsville. And he has been a solid piece coming off the bench this year for Coach Mike Jones.
Radford has almost a 3-headed monster at the post. Holland, Phillips. And they have Leroy Butts off the bench, 6'7", 220.
And Butts was the one who was the highest rated recruit coming out of high school. A lot of talent down in the block for the Highlanders.
You know those rankings mean nothing.
Oh, come on. James front rims it. And here comes Carly Jones. Well, he chose Radford over Valparaiso and a bunch of Mid-American Conference schools. Trying to get the assist. He's got it. Travis Fields, pure with the jumper.
For Travis Fields, you have to know scouting report defense. 40% of his shots are from 3. He loves the arc.
Another nice setup. Holland makes it an 8-0 run for the Highlanders.
Well, for Liberty, one of the keys I had for this game, they have to avoid the droughts. And right now they're in a scoring drought, and they must protect defensive glass because Radford is the best in the Big South at getting second chance points.
Wild shot by Georgie Pacheco-Ortiz. Fields pushes it ahead to Tanner for three.
And you can see Radford, they want to go up and down a little bit. Selectively run, as Mike Jones told me before the game. And Liberty, they want to grind you. On offense, they want to hold it late into the clock and wait for you to make a mistake.
Cavill, tough shot. His first field goal makes it 12-10, and it's Liberty's first bucket in over 5 minutes.
When you're the road team, you have to score with pace to keep the crowd out of the game.
Quick trigger by Leroy Butts the fourth. Tanner attacks, and he is denied. Out of bounds. Radford will have it when we come back.
Carly Jones, the freshman of the year in the Big South, setting up his teammates. Travis Field, Jr. finds the line, knocks it down. Radford up a deuce. And how about this one to Holland inside?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal, Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and those that live like a pro, GMC.
And yes, that was Greg Marshall when he was at Winthrop. Now, of course, at Wichita State. This conference has a tremendous amount of history. And this conference tournament championship game is an opportunity for both Radford and Liberty to punch a ticket that they don't commonly do. You see, Winthrop has had the greatest run of success. UNC Asheville was this year's regular season champ. But we're going to have a new champion representing this league in the NCAA tournament. Joey Brackett says that whoever wins this game is going to go to Dayton and be in a play-in game, and at this point quite likely would be matched up against #1 overall Virginia. But as you know, Coach, there's a lot of basketball to be played in the next week.
A lot can happen between now and then. Radford was preseason picked 7th in the Big South. They come in as the 2 seed.
And that's why Mike Jones is the Big South Conference Coach of the Year. Radford comes in with a record of 21-12. Last time they lost a game was at UNC Asheville a month ago. And we are in Radford, Virginia, and by virtue of being the #2 seed in this event, after Asheville got knocked out, Coach Jones' team gets to play host. And you know, the alumni base of this school includes, I'm going to say, the most charismatic man in the 4 decades of ESPN, Marty Smith,
who was in with Roy Williams just the other day for that Duke Carolina game. He was walking the campus with Roy Williams.
He's with everybody. He hangs with Nick Saban. He hangs with Roy Williams. And actually, Marty Smith was back here on Alumni Weekend back in late January, helping honor the 20-year anniversary of the first NCAA tournament appearance in Radford's Division I history.
And Mike Jones has done an outstanding job, as Richard McKay at Liberty, to build this program to last. Now, good recruits coming in, development over time. Each have had back-to-back 20-win seasons in their tenure.
Coach Jones, during his 7 years at Radford, owns wins over schools like Virginia Tech, Georgetown, Penn State. Their best non-league wins this year, East Carolina, James Madison. After a slow start, Radford has heated up dramatically, having hit 4 of its last 7. Radford tried to set up Polite, who remains cold from the floor.
The Polite shot it at 40% in the Big South from 3. Doesn't take many, but he was 0 for 4 back in Asheville.
Offensive foul against Caleb Holmesley. For the 33rd year, ESPN Champ Week presented by Principal continues Monday with the West Coast Conference semifinals. First game's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN, with the second game at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific over on ESPN2. And as always, you can watch them live on the ESPN app. St. Mary's and Gonzaga both surviving their quarterfinal games. And of course, that's the matchup everybody will be looking for in Vegas.
Because that will be the matchup of the two best teams and two offensive-minded teams. BYU can put points on the board.
That foul call was on Caleb Holmesley, his second. And so he's gone out of the game. And we see big number 0 in blue, Mayo Baxter-Bell, into the game for the second time.
He is a big, big boy.
Well, they list him at 6'5", 255, but you can see he's got some quick feet. Defending on an island against Polite. Tough little runner by Donald Hicks.
Now, Hicks was outstanding in the quarterfinals and semifinals for Radford. Really shot it well from 3.
Well, he's only listed now at 6'3", 170, but he was a lot skinnier than that when he started his varsity career. Near turnover, the Flames keep possession. And the officials, I think, are going to check to see if there was a change of possession and where the shot clock should be. It currently stands at 26.
We got an outstanding crew. Matt Potter, crew chief, Tony Henderson, and Michael Lucky have all worked Big South championship games. Well, that was quick. That's what we like. Come to a decision and let's go.
Kemwright and Cabell in the backcourt for Liberty. Nice little pick and pop for Kemwright.
Well, Liberty could get into these droughts, Doug. They can stop you, but at times they really struggle to score.
Well, it's a 10-2 run to open up this 4-point Radford lead.
They went in multiple droughts against Asheville in the semifinal. But their defense won the game.
3 to shoot. Polite puts up an air ball. Play continues. That was just the shot clock horn going off.
If Radford's going to win the game, Polite has to get inside the arc.
Polite is 0 for so far this afternoon. 0 for 4 from the floor. 7:20 remaining first half. Kemwright turns down the 3, penetrates. Tough shot by Cabell, the junior from Arlington, Texas. It's 14-12 Highlanders. Polite picks up the illegal screen foul. Lavelle Cabell out of Mansfield Summit High School in Texas, averaging over 11 points per game. He's got 6 early in this championship of the Big South Conference. Chris, thank you. And indeed, it is Champ Week. Every game has a lot riding on it. The winner of this will punch its ticket for the NCAA tournament. And during this last time out, Paul Biancardi sprinted from our table here and became an embedded reporter inside the Liberty huddle. And what intel can you give us?
Well, first of all, I can tell you that's not a sprint. Okay, that is a walk jog. But Richie McKay, very calm in the huddle. It was an offensive huddle. They want to go at Carlik Jones right now and make him play defense. They talked about driving the ball into the paint and then spraying it out for a 3-point shot. They're going to attack Carlik Jones right here if they can, either on a 3-point shot or a back cut.
So paint touches are a big deal.
Very big deal. That's how you create threes. And they put Carlik Jones in the ball screen.
Well, there's a paint touch, and instead of passing out of it, Baxter-Bell buries the 15-footer.
And that was the theme of Coach McKay's huddle. Let's get the ball into the paint and play out.
Tied at 14, 6.5 remaining first half of this Big South championship. Well, if anybody is suited to win in a hostile road environment in this conference, it's the Liberty Flames, the only team in the league with a winning road record. And they are just a game or two over on the road. They are 9-4. First time in 21 years this program has been that good away from home.
Let's see what goes on inside. Phillips against Baxter Bell. There's a lot of girth right there. Oh, a little bump by Baxter Bell. Yeah, I got the bump though first. It's a clean block, but I got a bump. I had that one on the floor. Maybe take that out, baseline out.
So Baxter Bell joins Holmesley with 2 fouls for Liberty. And on the flip side, Ed Polite Jr. has 2 fouls and no points. And Polite has been on the bench since picking up that second foul.
And the dynamics offensively for Radford, they changed without Polite in the game. Yeah, they can go inside. They got Holland and Phillips inside. They score at the block and at the rim. And Polite could score anywhere inside the arc. Now the onus for scoring will go to Carlik Jones.
Well, if you're Mike Jones, the head coach, do you roll the dice at all later here in the first half and bring Polite back with those 2 fouls? Absolutely not, especially if the game is 1 or 2 possessions. If it starts to get to double figures, then I have to think about it. Georgie Pacheco-Ortiz feeds the post. Kemwright had it blocked by Jones. That was the play Richie McKay talked about. To run Jones off a double screen. What a recovery by Carlik Jones. Holland off the glass for 2 more. He's got 7. Well, they're simple inside Radford. Holland is simple, little jump hook over the left shoulder, but strong, powerful, and the key to that, Doug, they get great post position. 2 feet in the paint. They make and maintain contact and then go to work. James off the nice feed from Kemwright. Scotty James just with 2 points. He's averaged 18 points a game over the last month. He's got to get cooking. They immediately double the post because Holland's been giving them trouble. And the shot clock reset, and so they're going to go have to figure it out at the scorer's table. Second time here this afternoon we've had a shot clock issue. And now for today's Fresh Take, brought to you by Listerine. And as we mentioned off the top, there are going to be 4 NCAA bids grabbed today. There was 1 taken yesterday. Murray State out of the OVC becomes the first to go dancing, Paul. Murray State still the king of the OVC. They've changed coaches, but that's a tough conference because when you come out of that conference, you're a little bit battle tested, maybe with a possibility of getting that 15th seed. I know Joe Lenardi talked about the winner of this being in the play-in game in Dayton. I see the OVC getting a 15 or a 16 seed. Shot clock was reset to 9, so the Highlanders have to go, and go he does. Carlik Jones. Absolutely beautiful. How about the freshman? He reads that the defense backs up. Puts that little float game. Outstanding. And while he is a freshman, he is a second-year player for Radford. They decided to redshirt him last year, and he has greatly benefited from that extra year of seasoning, Paul. Yeah, every player should redshirt. I really believe that. The emotional growth, the physical growth. Scotty James fouled by Holland. Carlik Jones, he's best off the bounce. See the way he changes direction? He went left to right, little burst, and he doesn't bring it too deep. He understands to pull up in open space. First foul on Holland, 15 foul on Radford, both with 5 team fouls here today. Scotty James is a interesting story. He began his college career at Bradley University. He's a young man out of Tarpon Springs, Florida, but when his mom, Christy, 2 years ago took a job at Liberty. She reached out to the coaching staff, Richard McKay and his staff, and said, you know what? I have a son who's 6'7" and plays basketball. Perhaps you'd be interested in him. Turns out they were, and turns out it's been a marriage made in heaven.
Great story. His mom was a counselor at Clearwater Christian College in Clearwater, Florida. It closed. The job at Liberty, and as you mentioned, she called that.
Official visit. Now he's second team, all Big South.
We apologize for the technical difficulties we are experiencing here from Radford, Virginia at the Big South Championship game. With Paul Biancardi, I'm Doug Sherman. .320 remaining first half. Radford with the basketball. We've been told Frank Beamer is here, but we can't locate him at the moment. Right.
We have nothing going on right now. Okay.
Okay.
My 16-year-old got up.
Me with my mouth open as always. Is he back home?
She, yeah.
She, I'm sorry.
She's there.
What's her name?
Alyssa.
Yep. Gotcha.
Radio call.
Going to my roots, baby.
Well, then you're good.
Yeah.
If you could only see this.
Nice. Thank you, Chris. We'll knock on wood about those pictures as we've got less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half here in Radford, VA. Liberty looking for the upset on the road against Radford, who comes up with the steal. With Paul Biancardi, I'm Doug Sherman. 24-21, Highlanders with a lead in the basketball.
With Ed Polite on the bench for Radford, they've been going inside. And then Carly Jones and a lot of ball screens. Mike Jones has given him the freedom from the outside to navigate and operate in two-man games.
Foul goes against Hicks. You like that shot, though, right? Carly Jones, a little bit of a step back, but it looked good to me.
I like anything Carly Jones does with the basketball. He's got 4 assists, no turns, 3 for 4 from the field, now 3 for 5. He's a confident young man with a beautiful stroke.
He once dropped 57 points on Hughes High School in the 2016 sectional championship game for the Aiken Falcons, so he can shoot it. Jones this year is a redshirt freshman, 11.7 points per game. Little pick and roll. And it's an offensive foul against Scotty James.
Scotty James had a monster game against Asheville to get to the championship. Dropped 18 points, grabbed 14 rebounds. And he's been outstanding for Liberty this year. The red shirt.
That was the
sophomore.
ninth. Excuse me, Paul. That was the 9th double-double of his year. And in this tournament coming into today, about as efficient as you can get. Scotty James 11 of 15 from the floor, 10 of 11 from the line. Illegal screen called against Liberty and against Ryan Kemwright, the redshirt senior captain. Who, by the way, Ryan Kemwright came to Lynchburg, Virginia from Conroe, Texas, and endured back-to-back 20-loss seasons as a redshirt and then in his redshirt freshman year. And now he's going out off of back-to-back 20-win seasons. You talk about growth personally and as a program.
And how about the evaluation by Richie McKay and his staff to find him all the way down in Texas? Now he's scoring 10 points a game, and he could be the best three-point shooter ever to play at Liberty.
Leroy Butts the fourth. Coming up on our Audi halftime report. Join Chris Cotter and Dallin Cuff. Of course, the ACC title will be on the line. And we'll talk about the centers of attention in the Big Ten Conference. The Big Ten, along with the Big South, will crown its postseason tournament champions today. Purdue and Michigan will play at Madison Square Garden later this afternoon.
Where are they playing?
MSG.
It sounds funny.
Final 37 seconds of the half.
Radford's done a nice job scoring without Ed Polite. Since he's been on the bench, Radford 12, Liberty 9. If you're Mike Jones, that's just the way you want it till halftime.
8 on the timer. Here goes Carlik Jones. Spins, hangs, denied. Scotty James swats it out of bounds.
And that was a big-time move by Carlik Jones, the spin. But the block by Scotty James. Watch him come from the weak side. Here he comes. Get that out of here. Wow. Thought he had a path. That lane, Doug, really closes down when you get to the next level, doesn't it?
Sure does. Radford timeout with 2 on the shot clock. 13 seconds remaining in the half. And we'll step away as well. What will Radford do coming out of the timeout? Back in Radford, Virginia, late first half, only 2 on the shot clock, and let's see what Radford, out of that quick timeout, is able to draw up.
I'm looking for Donald Hicks for a 3.
Can't get it to Hicks. Instead, it goes to Jones. Can't get the roll. Liberty fights for it and has it. 5 seconds left in the half. Lavelle Cabell had a wide open lane, and he missed the layup. Well, Radford is 16-3 this season when leading at halftime. And our score is 26-21, led by Devontae Hollins, 11 points. Now let's go to Chris and Dallin in the studio. Back to Champ Week presented by Principal. We're at the Dedman Center in Radford, Virginia for the Big South Championship. The 5th-seeded Liberty Flames trailing the 2nd-seeded Radford Highlanders as we get set for the second half. With Paul Biancardi, I'm Doug Sherman. And out of that first half, Paul, we pretty much got exactly what we expected.
Yeah, we knew coming in, Doug, it was going to be a low possession game and a low scoring game. Points are hard to come by in this matchup.
Well, one guy who has shined so far is the point guard. His name is Carlik Jones, and let's show you what he has been able to do as part of our Jersey Mike's Performance Above.
Oh, from Aiken High School, the redshirt freshman. It's been magnificent in the pick and roll game. His ability to get to the rim, find his open teammates. He's got 4 assists, no turns. Freshman playing in the biggest game of his life, and he's stepping up.
So Jones with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the 2018 Conference Freshman of the Year. He's the third Highlander ever to win that prestigious award after Anthony Walker in 1994 and Whit Holcomb Fay back in 2003.
It was such a clutch first half performance by Jones because their best player, Ed Polite, was on the bench with 2 fouls. That's what makes his performance in the first half, to me, that much more impressive.
Yeah, the numbers for Polite on the year: first team all-conference, nearly 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals per game. And because of those fouls, he played only 11 minutes, took 4 shots and missed them all.
And you talked about, you just said it, 4 shots. You're going to see Radford to start the second half, I think, go right to Ed Polite. But first, they got to get a stop here against Liberty.
Murray State, out of the OVC, punched its ticket yesterday. Either Liberty or Radford will do the same here this afternoon with just under 20 minutes remaining on the clock. Liberty with the basketball to start the second half in their road blue uniforms with the red lettering and white trim, and then Radford in its home whites with the red lettering. This is truly a golden era for Liberty Flames basketball. They've won a program record 41 games over the last 2 years. Lavelle Cabell misfires from 3.
And now if I'm Mike Jones, first play, I'm trying to get Ed Polite at the elbow. He loves to operate right at the elbow, a high post right there. Let's see if we can get him in the post.
Donald Hicks gives to Christian Bradford, who feeds the post into Polite. He's doubled, dribbles out of it with 4 on the shot clock. Over Comright. Not a bad look, just couldn't knock it down.
But I've seen Ed Polite be way more aggressive than that. He kind of went in there like he was playing pickup basketball, Doug, and looking for the foul. Come on, you got to go strong, and if you get the foul, that's fine, but don't go looking for it. Great double team by Liberty. That's a pack line defense staple.
But then they didn't double him the second time, and Kemwright was left by himself to defend. You'd have thought Radford with Polite could have made him pay. Jones, Hicks, and Bradford in the backcourt. This is Jones against Strong to the bucket. Give him 8.
Carlik Jones in the last 2 games for Radford, he took the most shots. He took 25 shots for Radford in the quarter and semifinals combined. Ed Polite took 18, so he's taking on that role right now.
James off the feed from Cabell. Nice set for the Flames.
Great set. The spacing for Liberty all season long has been outstanding. In terms of ball movement, it's been there. It's just the ability to make the shot when open.
Liberty beat Campbell in the quarterfinals on Thursday, and then upset the #1 seed UNC Asheville in Friday's semifinal round, 69-64. With 5 on the timer, the corner 3 is off by Bradford from the weak side. Welcome to the party, Ed Polite Jr.
And that's what he does best, Ed Polite Jr. He crashes the offensive glass, gets over 2.5 offensive rebounds per game.
The steal by Bradford. Offensive foul. Credit Kemwright for holding his ground.
Scotty James inside for Liberty. He's wide open off a little ball screen. The slip, wide open in the layup. And on the other side for Radford, the man Ed Polite crashing the offensive glass.
Young man out of Prince George's County, Ed Polite Jr. with his first 2. Make it a 7-point Radford lead. 10 to shoot. Holmesley drive and dish. Good looking stroke for Lavelle Cabell.
Cabell, tremendous defender, driver, only 32% from 3. But the Flames really needed to see the ball go in the basket from distance.
And he's only been 1 of 6 in the Big South Conference tournament from distance coming in. Whatever offense they can get from number 3 is a pleasant surprise. He is now Liberty's lead scorer today with 13. And that means he's 24 shy from 1,000 for his career.
How about that? And the Flames beat you with balanced scoring. They have 4 guys that average double figures.
Including this young man, Scotty James, for 3. Well, I'd say the folks who made the trip from Lynchburg are making some noise. 3 busloads of Liberty students, as well as a big group of alumni and fans, made the hour-and-a-half ride to be here in Radford. Phillips grabs the miss.
It's one of the keys that Radford had to have in this game. Get on the offensive glass. That's where they score 25% of their points.
Fields the pull-up. And Liberty can take the lead.
A great defensive stand by the Flames. Just staying solid in front of their man. Contesting shots, cleaning up the glass.
Cabell, pick and roll, James. Offensive foul. Donald Hicks draws the charge.
Scotty James from Liberty. He's posted 9 double-doubles as a sophomore. He can stroke it from distance. The Flames back in it, down 1.
I'm Trayvon Blewett from Xavier University, a Wood and Ward finalist. And when I step on the court, there's no doubt who the best one is.
And that's how Trayvon Blewett is putting in elite effort to win college basketball's highest individual honor in our Wendy's Wooden Watch. And how about the Big East Conference? Xavier took the regular season title away from Villanova for the first time since the Big East was reconfigured. But at this point, as you see, Joe Lunardi's got both conference rivals on the top line.
How about that? And you look at the 2 seeds. You have Purdue and Michigan State, 2 Big Ten programs. I really like Purdue to win it all, and I'll tell you why. I had them at the battle for Atlantis, and they can shoot it from the outside as well as any team in the country. And with Isaac Haas inside, I think they have the best inside-outside game, and they defend, Doug, in the half court. That's my pick to win it all.
Liberty has jumped its shooting numbers up a little bit to start the second half to draw back within a point, 30-29. Radford with the ball, the number 2 seed. Picked 7th in the preseason coaches poll, but Mike Jones has made this Highlanders bunch a winner. Polite. Foul on the drive before the shot.
I'll tell you what Ed Polite did a great job of. He got the ball, he saw the double team, he kept his dribble alive. He didn't pick up his dribble. When the double team went away, he re-attacked. That was a smart play by Ed Polite.
Second foul on Elijah Cuffey, the freshman from Poca, West Virginia. That's about 115 miles from here. And so politely makes the first. Now you see his background out of Duval High School. His dad, Ed Sr., was an assistant coach on the varsity under head coach Ulysses Lee. And another one of the great players coming out of Prince George's County. Holmesley coughs it up.
They're going to look for Polite once it slows down. There he is. And there's the double. Does a great job of getting rid of it, doesn't he?
Sure does. Back out to Fields for 3. 5 quick points for the Highlanders. And down goes Cabell, who was fouled. He and Travis Fields appeared to run into each other. They both come away holding their faces. And the foul goes on Fields. his first.
Well, Fields shot 3 for 5 against Longwood and Winthrop in the quarters and semis. Comes in at 31%. Confident, he's hot. That's what Radford needs from the outside.
Yeah, he hit a game-winning buzzer-beating jump shot for his high school team, Norcom in Portsmouth, Virginia back in the day. He'll take that big shot.
I know the 757 is watching now that you said Portsmouth.
Great defense by Polite to poke the ball away from Mayo Baxter-Bell. Our NBA Sunday matchup features some of the association's brightest young stars and teams with Eastern Conference playoff hopes. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the 76ers take on Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. A couple of guys, actually 3 guys I mentioned who have changed the face of basketball and how you think about positional or positionless hoops.
No question about it. Ben Simmons was our #1 player coming out of the high school game. And he's lived up to it in the NBA. I haven't seen a guy pass like that since Jason Kidd coming out of high school.
Here's Carly Jones. Tough shot. Cabell had a hand in his face. Boy, how about the game Devontae Holland is giving to the Highlanders? Fields beats the buzzer for 3 more.
Well, credit Radford on the offensive glass.
It's an 8-0 run to open up the largest lead of the afternoon. After just moments ago, it was down to a 1-point game.
Well, Radford loves to hit the offensive glass, get second chance opportunities. They are the best in the Big South when it comes to offensive rebounds. Right now, they've got 33% of their misses in this game, and that's extra points that they don't have to score against the pack.
Cabell, runner, rims off. Scotty James, another offensive rebound.
Great rebound in traffic by James.
Keegan McDowell's come into the game for Richie McKay. He's got the basketball now. Catching through 3. How about that for Cold off the bench?
From ice cold to red hot.
Out of Moeller High School in Cincinnati. Don't let his 3-point percentage fool you. That young man can knock him down. Foul on the post entry.
Every time Radford feeds the post, Liberty's running a man over to double. You got to come over with knees bent, straight hands. You can't commit fouls on the double team. Don't bail them out. You want to make them throw it out.
3rd foul on Scotty James, who exits. Baxter-Bell returns. Holmesley also goes out, and Williams will stay in. Foul on the shot will send Polite to the line. And that'll take us to our next media timeout. Well, the gym is basically split 50-50 in terms of the fans, and both these Big South Conference rivals throwing haymakers back and forth. Fields back-to-back, and then McDowell fresh off the bench with a big answer for the Flames. Division I program back in 1988. Liberty University has helped produce a couple of NBA players. Julius Nwasu played a year for the Spurs back in the mid-90s. And how about Seth Curry, who's still a member of the Dallas Mavericks, injured and missing this season, but the younger brother of Steph Curry, going from Liberty, transferring to Duke, and then on to the league. And then how about Carl Hess? He didn't make the NBA, but with nearly 2,400 career points, he is the all-time leading scorer in Flames history. He did make the Final Four once, not as a player, but as an official. He was on the whistle in 2007 when the Florida Gators beat the Ohio State Buckeyes for their back-to-back repeat national titles.
Well, I'm going to give Carl Hess an offensive foul on that pull-up shot in that picture. I don't think he'd like the call very much. Maybe throw us out. I don't know.
You never know. Well, Liberty University was founded back in 1971 by Dr. Jerry Falwell, and his son Jerry Jr. remains the president of the school. This basketball program began the following year in 1972-73 and moved up to D2 in 1980 and have been D1 now for the last 3 decades. Liberty with it, down by 7. Blocked by Polite.
Polite starting to assert himself here in the second half.
Kemwright's hurt down underneath the other basket, so it's a 5-on-4 that the Highlanders cannot capitalize on. And we'll take a look and see what happened on that blocked shot. The 5th-year senior and captain is obviously in a lot of pain. Let's take a look on replay what occurred as Kemwright got his shot blocked by Polite and then went down hard and into the basket. Took a shot to the head inadvertently from Polite.
With the momentum of Ed Polite just knocked him to the ground against the support.
And Kemwright is back over on the Liberty bench. Got some liquid refreshment and seems to be okay. 11:17 remaining in regulation. Cobble to James. That combination has been electric for the Flames.
They just isolated the left side of the floor. Simple ball screen action. Scotty James right to the rim. He has got great hands, good balance, and he has been a beast on the glass this year for Liberty.
And there's a real knack both to be the guy who delivers the ball and also the roller who receives it, right?
He does, and when he catches it, he keeps it high. But I love his knack to pursue the ball. He really, see him on the defensive glass, he doesn't get up real high, but he anticipates very well.
Tuffy penetrates. Jones got a hand on it, and the Bradley transfer comes down with yet another offensive rebound.
You got to love that energy and that effort to pursue the basketball. When Scotty James first got to Liberty, he was a little bit out of shape. He was a little bit fleshy. He had what they called that skinny fat. So he needed to tighten and tone up, and he got with Henry Barea, the strength coach for Liberty, and he has really transformed his body in the last year.
Scotty James has more double-doubles than any other sophomore in the country. Coming in, the young man from Tarpon Springs, Florida, working on another one here this afternoon in the biggest game of the year. Second straight double-double now. Give him 11 points, 10 rebounds for James. We'll take a break here in Radford, Virginia. ESPN Champ Week for the 33rd year in a row continues today with 3 more women's title matchups over on ESPN2. The SEC Championship, Pitt, South Carolina, and Mississippi State, followed by Maryland and Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. And then the Pac-12 at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Stanford tries to continue its run of excellence over that league. Going to have to knock off #1 Oregon. Meanwhile, on the men's side, this is the first of 4 conference championships to be decided today. Following us here on ESPN, the Atlantic Sun title game between Lipscomb and Florida Gulf Coast.
Loyola Chicago playing for that Valley Championship. Porter Moser took over that program while they were in the Horizon League, and he brought them to the top of the Valley. Outstanding job by Porter Moser.
Big block shot by Holmesley.
Ed Polite just more aggressive in the second half, more assertive.
Holmesley with a size advantage, faces up and buries the jumper.
He's got a sweet touch from mid-range and deep. He comes into this championship game hot. 66% from the floor.
Fields puts the lead right back to 6. Every Every time Radford's needed a bucket, Travis Fields Jr., the sophomore, an Old Dominion transfer, has had it. Ryan Kemwright back into the game after taking that shot to the head for Liberty a couple of minutes ago. Scotty James just faces up and lays it in.
Pacheco Ortiz, what a beautiful find. 11 in the blue. But Scotty James, he makes himself available when he rolls to the basket. You just can't roll for the to the basket. You got to call for the ball.
Polite inside Holland over James. No. Liberty's got it. Well, if not Fields or Polite, Radford has had no answers in the second half. Those two have combined for the Highlanders' last 14. But their lead is being threatened. It's cut back to 4. Cavill, wide open look. Kemwright. Nothing but net.
We talked about it during the break. Liberty was only down 2 possessions, but all the runs that Radford had. Liberty, 1-possession game right now.
Give it back to the Flames. I'll tell you what, this building is about 60-40 Radford to Liberty fans. You really don't know who's got the home court advantage as we take another look at Ryan Kemwright, the senior captain for the Flames. These two programs are rivals of each other, the big rivals in the state of Virginia, playing for the Big South Conference Championship. Mayo Baxter-Bell in. James will get a blow just before the under 8 media timeout.
This is where you really have to stay true to your identity as you come down the stretch for a conference championship. You can't get out of character. You can't try things you haven't done before. The confidence starts to get questioned. The leadership needs to step up.
Radford brings Randy Phillips back in. Devontae Holland grabs a seat. Trying to post up the big man. Mayo Baxter-Bell. He will shoot 2 with a chance to give the Flames its first lead since 8-7. The big man will be at the free throw line shooting 2 when we come back to a sold-out Denman Center in Radford, Virginia.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Investments, retirement, insurance.
Some of the great moments in the history of the Big South Conference Tournament. Craig Bradshaw's hook gave Winthrop the title 12 years ago. Last year, Chris Clemens was brilliant for the Campbell Camels. He was this year's regular season scoring king. Who might add their name to that marvelous list here today? Perhaps Scotty James already with another double-double. He's getting a break, still coming out of the under 8 timeout, as the Flames have drawn to within a point with Mayo Baxter-Bell at the free throw line, and he ties it up. Coach, you were in the Radford huddle during that break. What did you hear?
It was a huddle that was very intense, players and coaches. It was a defensive-minded huddle. Mike Jones talked about we got to pick up the ball higher, the point of pickup, pressure the ball, keep that pressure out to the three-point line. Let's chase them off the threes. And offensively, they want to get it to Blight on the left elbow or the left block. Mike Jones drew up a play to get it inside to Phillips or Polite. This time they're going to Phillips. But make no mistake about it, Mike Jones emphasized being aggressive on defense, contesting shots, blocking out, find those shooters.
Third foul on Baxter-Bell. Randy Phillips also has 3 fouls, as does Scotty James. A friendly hometown roll for big Mr. Phillips. Transfer from East Central Community College. He originally committed to Jackson State University. He is a Jackson, Mississippi native out of Lanier High School. But because of academics, he wound up going the junior college route. Now a 2-year starter for Radford.
And in some ways, the big fella is the unsung hero of this team. Does his job, 5 rebounds, 5 points. He's a big man with a big game, but very quiet, unassuming young man.
Nicknamed Papa. And Papa puts Radford back in front, 44-43. Pocket pick. James lost it. Here come the Highlanders. Travel.
Christian Bradford, 3 in the white with a quick pair of hands for Radford. Great steal.
6th turnover as Polite gives it back. Moving his feet before putting the ball on the deck. Mike Jones wanting an explanation.
Now you're going to see ball pressure by Radford. They're going to get up on the ball. They have to chase the shooters off the 3-point line. And then they're responsible for Scotty James inside. And that's why Liberty's in the championship game today.
Holmesley tried to cross over the defender. Polite knocked it away.
Yeah, good pressure by Polite.
Jones will head to the line. Personal against Kemwright. Well, Mike Jones told us before the game, block out the hype. Forget about what's around you. And for Carlik Jones, the redshirt freshman out of Aiken High School in Cincinnati, he's done a good job of that. He's got to do that here at the free throw line. Sports Center after the 76ers Bucks with Kenny Mayne and John Anderson. They'll have a full breakdown of that big game with all the post-game reactions, plus the latest from the NFL Combine. Our experts will discuss how high Shaquem Griffin could go. And don't miss the latest SC feature, A Miracle in Manhattan. It's the story of South Carolina head coach Frank Martin and his second chance at life back when he was the head coach at K-State. Sports Center at night, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Radford by 3.
Constantly see 4 behind the line and 1 inside for the Flames.
Cavill into traffic, and he's bailed out with a blocking call that goes against the big man underneath, Randy Phillips.
A lot of movement for Liberty, and they space it so well. When you have great spacing, you open up driving lines. Cabell right inside. Ed Polite. Was that Phillips? That's his 4th for Ed Polite. Phillips, I'm sorry. Phillips.
So he'll take a seat. Devontae Holland, the sophomore from Martinsville, Virginia, returns. James gives it back to Cavill, who returns the favor to James. Made it tougher than it had to be, but he's still able to deliver.
Scotty James, just an active, alert. Not the most athletic guy on the floor, but gets the ball up to the rim.
Polite is fouled, and again, it's Kemwright stuck defending a bigger man. The Liberty has made its last 4 shots from the floor, including the last one by Scotty James.
Well, Scotty James is always handing off, ball screening, going right to the rim. The rotation for Radford is late from the weak side. You see defenders coming late, trying to block shots, and Scotty James does a nice job of finding the space, splitting the gap.
Well, he and Polite are the 2 guys we featured off the top. Scotty James, 2nd team All-Big South Conference. The man at the line, 1st team All-Conference, averaging nearly 14 per game. And after a quiet first half saddled with fouls, he's delivering here in the second.
And he's not afraid to take the big shot, and he certainly can make it. They got Carlik Jones. That's the Batman and Robin for Radford. But I tell you what, Ed Polite is a good steal defender and a great rebounder.
James sets the screen. Pacheco Ortiz double team. Under control back to Kemwright. Around and out.
Every time Kemroyd shoots it, you think it's going in. And when you're close to him, think again, you got to get closer.
44% on the year, but he missed that one. The winner here goes to the NCAA tournament. 5 minutes to go.
Going to see Carly Jones and Ed Polite try to finish this off for Radford offensively.
Jones to Polite.
As I mentioned, he's shooting 40% on those shots, but he hasn't taken a lot of those shots. I like to see him put it on the deck, get closer to the rim.
Pacheco Ortiz. Off the back iron. And Polite with another rebound. Polite, that is, excuse me.
Are you trying to be polite?
Trying to be polite. Ed Polite Jr.
When Radford made that run in the second half, most of their field goals were in the paint. Now, when you throw out of that double, you got to get it to the other side quickly.
Tough shot for Caleb Tanner.
When that double comes, Doug, get it out, get it over, and then one more.
30-second timeout called by Richie McKay, the Flames head coach. And so we'll take a break with them. The Flames and the Highlanders for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Chris, and part of our capacity crowd here in Radford, Virginia. You might recognize the man sitting behind us to the left. He attended Radford University, and yes, that's Frank Beamer, the Hall of Fame football coach from nearby Virginia Tech. Retired now from the Hokies. I think the popcorn is just keeping the nerves down right now.
Celebrity in the house, Frank Beamer.
Scotty James, 17 points. 13 have come since the intermission.
And it's been a balance for Liberty. The three-point shot and Scotty James inside. Radford has to respond. It's been a lot of ball screen action for Radford with Carly Jones.
Here goes the marvelous freshman, puts it up on the rim. No, it comes to Cabell. Flames with a chance to reclaim the lead with 3 minutes remaining on the clock.
And Richie McKay told me yesterday, we have to finish the possession defensively.
James with a chance for three. The Flames are back in front.
Liberty's been running side pick and roll and middle pick and roll, and the weak side help for Radford has been late on the airtime in a pass. The defender has to get over. You can't move once he catches the basketball. Donald Hicks that time has to be there before James catches it. Late defense puts James to the line.
2 for 2, make it 3 for 3 for the 73% foul shooter and give him 20 points for the game, including the last 7.
Little screen, the screener action into a ball screen.
Polite lowers his shoulder, and it's a blocking call that goes against Liberty.
Really good action by Radford, though. They ran screen to screener. Then they turned that into a ball screen. And then Ed Polite gets to the top of the key and and he has the right side of the floor open. That's where Mike Jones likes to isolate for Polite. And he can score, get to the rim, or do both.
Third foul on Holmesley.
Each team, Doug, the defense is just so locked in. They've played each other 2 times before. Radford swept Liberty during the regular season. They know the plays, they know the players. Execution down the stretch is imperative.
Well, it's been 7 minutes since Radford's last field goal, but they've been getting to the line, led by Ed Polite Jr. We're tied at 50.
We said the first one to 50 is going to win. It's a tie right now.
Was it deflected? Apparently not. The ball goes back to the Highlanders. Good call.
Great call.
Radford has it. Under 2 minutes remaining. Polite. Just his second made field goal, and it's a big one.
And he's touched it the last 2 possessions. One time on the right elbow, this time on the left elbow. Give Ed Polite some space and time. It's going to make something happen for Radford.
We'll take a 30-second break and be right back to this conference championship game. Well, Scotty James, the redshirt sophomore from Tarpon Springs, Florida, has been moving up, presented by Degree Deodorant. He has kept the Flames within striking distance, down by 2. Scotty James moving up, presented by Degree Deodorant.
Radford came with the heat that time. Full court pressure. Liberty just got it in. They beat the 5-second call.
Pass deflected out of bounds by Polite. The Flames will keep it, down by 2.
You're going to see Liberty continue to spread the floor. 2 up high, 2 wide. And Scotty James will set ball screens and then slip to the basket. If Radford takes that away, look for Liberty to throw that skip pass to the open shooter.
LaBelle Cabell blocked, and a blocking foul. The rejection up top was clean, but the help side defender is whistled for the personal.
And Cabell, they clear out the left side. Seemed like Hicks was, he was inside the arc. That was clear. You've got to come outside that restricted arc, get your feet planted, and then take that charge.
Third foul on Hicks, the sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. And now the officials are heading back over to the scorer's table to take a look at something. Apparently to make sure that Hicks was inside the restricted arc.
Take a look at 5 in the white. His right heel, his right foot, I'm sorry, his left foot is inside the arc on that replay.
Seemed pretty clear on that look. And good for the officials to check it just the once. Nice job by Matt Potter, Tony Henderson, Michael Lucky are 3 officials. They came over to let us know because the coach requested that review. They were compelled to go do it. They saw it once and reaffirmed what the call on the floor was. Lavelle Cabell makes the first. He's had some big games for Liberty this year. He had a season-high 22 back in November when they upset Wake Forest. That was their biggest win of the year, trying to come up with one bigger here this afternoon. 5th tie of our championship game.
Well, Radford has Carlik Jones off the basketball right now. Keep an eye on one in the white. It's on the weak side.
Polite lost it. Liberty with a chance to retake the lead.
Outstanding defense, one-on-one.
Ten to shoot. They get the ball into the hands of Cabell. Long three. It comes off the rim. Williams saves it. Radford with it. Tied at 52 with 15 seconds on the clock. Timeout Highlanders. Let's go back to the studio and Chris Connor. Chris, thank you. Yes, Florida Gulf Coast is the youngest Division I team in men's college basketball. Liberty, who we're watching, is the second youngest school, founded in 1971. Trying to make a little history here, Paul.
Well, first they have to come up with a defensive stand. And Mike Jones calls that timeout. 13 on the game clock. I'm thinking it's going to be Ed Polite on a clear out at either the left elbow or the right elbow. You want to put the ball into the hands of your best player. Polite creates fouls. If he misses, he's a great offensive rebounder. He should be right at the rim. I see the call to go to Ed Polite for Radford.
Well, Radford led by as many as 9 earlier in the second half, but the Highlanders have gone cold in terms of putting the ball in the bucket. They've been effective getting to the foul line, but in terms of running their half-court sets, that Liberty defense has been rock solid.
It's been great, and they better be really good on the blockout, because it's not the first shot that beats you very often. It's the second shot, the offensive rebound. And Radford, the best offensive rebounding team in the Big South, top 50 nationally when it comes to offensive rebounding percentage.
So Mike Jones brings his 2 best three-point shooters off the bench, Travis Fields and Caleb Tanner. Not that you need a 3. Here we go for the 2018 Big South Championship. Gotta go. Jones for the win. He nailed it. Carlik Jones makes the shot of a lifetime as Radford wins the conference championship tournament and will be dancing in 2018.
Carlik Jones came off a simple double high ball screen. Mike Jones trusted the freshman. He put the ball in his hands and he delivered. Missed a big shot for Radford.
The replay has reaffirmed that there is no time left on the clock. And so let the party begin once again in Radford, Virginia. Hugs all around for Mike Jones and company. It's the first time in the NCAA tournament in 9 years for the Highlanders. Carlik Jones, you will never hit a bigger shot in your life. Beating hitting the buzzer for 3. Radford wins it 55-52. And for the Flames from Lynchburg, Virginia, a marvelous 21 season, but it ends in dramatic fashion at the hands of Carly Jones. The Highlanders win the 2018 Big South Championship 55-52. Coming up next, it's the A-Sun Championship here on ESPN. But now, let's send you back to the studio, and we send you back to Chris Cotter.